Hello, I'm Jessica Nutbrown, Client Accounting Services Supervisor at R&A CPAs. With me is Melissa Fasulo, Senior Associate in R&A's Assurance Group. The Small Business Development Center has invited us to share some information with you about the Employee Retention Credit, also known as the ERC. This information could be very important to you. The Employee Retention Credit is a result of two pieces of legislation that responded to the COVID pandemic. The ERC can provide tax credit relief for businesses that retained employees during the pandemic. The credits can be substantial, but a business must first qualify to file for the credit. Melissa is here to share some of those qualifications.
Thank you, Jessica. So there are a few ways that a business could qualify for the credit. And today I'd like to take and focus on two of those primary qualifications. The first way that a business could qualify for the credit would be to have a decline in revenue, using the year 2019 as a basis. A business would need to compare their 2020 and 2021 revenues per quarter to the same quarter in 2019. If there's a quarter in 2020 with the decline in revenue that is greater than 50%, or a quarter in 2021 with a decline in revenue of greater than 20%, then the business would qualify. The credit per employee is based on gross wages paid up to $10,000. So you could receive a credit in 2020 for up to 50% of the $10,000 for a maximum amount of $5,000 for the year per employee. And then in 2021, the legislation, they amended the provisions. So in 2021, you can receive a credit of 70% of the $10,000 per quarter rather than annually, for a maximum amount of $7,000 per quarter per employee. The second way that you could qualify for the ERC credit would be if the government required your business to be closed due to the pandemic. You could do your calculations based on the date you were required to be closed. And the same 50% for 2020 and the 70% for the 2021 credits would apply.
So just to be clear, it can be a maximum of $5,000 for the year per employee in 2020 and a maximum of $7,000 per quarter per employee for 2021?
Yeah, that's correct. So as an example, if your business qualifies and you have 10 employees in 2020, your credit could be as much as $50,000 for the year, and in 2021, your credit could be as much as $70,000 for any quarter. However, there are a few other things that we really need to think about. There are four in particular that I'd like to highlight. The first one is that if your business has employees that earned less than that $10,000 for gross wages, they could utilize any health premiums that they paid for those employees. When you're considering an employee, you would need to say that the owners or any related parties, they're not employees, so they need to be excluded. Any wages that the business used for a PPP forgiveness, the payment protection programs, would need to be excluded also. You can't double dip for the program, so if you used, got a credit for wages on the PPP, you couldn't take the credit for the ERC. And then the fourth one is that any 941s will need to be amended for any of the quarters that a credit is taken.
Sounds to me like all things tax related, the process is complex and you may need help. We recommend reaching out to your accountant, if you have one, or a business that specializes in employee retention credits. We recognize this was a lot of information to consider. However, we hope this brief overview has shown you how this credit could benefit your business. Thank you, and we appreciate your time today.